educated, but I'm so frustrated. Hello to my loneliness. I guess that ignorance is bliss. Take me back to before I knew. Rewind, take it out of cue. Innocence can be a young man's game. Signed up for the hall of shame. I wish I knew how much I miss not knowing that we're all screwed when we play our roles and ignore the problems. I like to be away in my patience. Stay up, I feel so outdated. How can we look the other way? Sun is out, but the sky is gray. What would happen if I took a chance? It's always hard at first glance. I don't wanna, but I know I gotta do it. The truth is hard to swallow, I think I'll chew it. I wish I knew how much I miss not knowing that we're all screwed when we play our roles and ignore the problems. I wish I knew how much I miss not knowing that we're all screwed when we play our roles and ignore the problems. I wish I knew.
Shalom, great day. Welcome to the House of Cons. I'm Black Jay. It's Saturday, Shabbat. Yeah, June 17, 2023. Try but hit the like button, subscribe, and share the video. Salute. If you haven't done so already. Shout out to all the members. If you want to get a membership, go ahead and click on the membership and join my Naga tribe up with me. You know what I'm saying? If you want to support monetarily, we got the Cash App at the top of the screen. Cash.app/$ House of Cons. Salute. Title of the show: Brazil Indigenous Slavery. Salute. Yeah, we're going to talk about who really got enslaved in Brazil. We're going to look at some sources. And while we're talking about looking at sources, let's go back to the intro one more time. Take a look. Slavery in Brazil in the background. Let's look at it from a third eye point of view. What do we see here? I know what I see in the background. I see three Nagas. A Naga with a feather sticking out the back of his head. And I see another Naga. Look like he got a, I don't know what kind of hat that is on, with a couple of feathers in the front. But it looked like he has hooped earrings and pearls, my Naga. Salute. So right away, my Naga radar went off. I said that can't be an African. Salute. You big dummy. I said no, there's something else we're looking at here. So let's investigate from a third eye point of view. Let's blow it up a little more. Hold on, let me get it straight. Third eye point of view. That Naga clearly has on hoops and what appear to be pearls. Let's see, let's blow it up a little more. That other Naga clearly has a feather sticking out his head. These are American Indians. These are not Africans. Slavery in Brazil, huh? They told us Africans. They told us these were Afro-Brazilians. But let's take a look at it. Shout out to all my Nagas in Brazil. They say Brazil. They say Brazil is full of Nagas. They say that is clearly a stronghold of the Naga. Salute. You big dummy. Yeah, boy. What's that they holding? That right there they holding remind me of something, Managa. It looks like they appear to be holding on to something. What are they holding? What are they? They appear to be carrying something. I swear I've seen that before. I swear I got a photographic memory in Managa. What are they carrying? Let's take you there. We're talking slavery, Managa. Salute. Yeah. The American Indians with their hoop earrings on, nappy-headed Nagas, the all-bone savage clock. Salute. Yeah, you know we all-bone savage experts over here. We bone savage experts. We noble savage experts. And I knew I recognized that photo right away when I saw them carrying that. I said, those are noble savages. Salute. Those are Americans. Salute. I saw the hooped earrings. I knew immediately what I was looking at. And they got on their feathered loincloths. They're carrying colonizers, Managa. Salute. So when I saw that picture in the intro, I knew immediately what I was looking at. I was looking at all-bone savage, the American Negro, so-called Tamarican, so-called American Indian. Salute. And with their feather in his hat. And then I superimpose a native Brazilian Naga in front of the picture. And I'd be damned if the native Naga I impose in the picture, if he ain't got on hooped earrings also, Managa. The modern day native Brazilian Naga, indigenous Naga of Brazil with his hooped earrings on, Managa. Yeah, I know exactly who these people are. Salute. There sure aren't no Afro-Brazilians. No. These are indigenous Brazilians. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to dig into it. We're going to look at it. We're going to square it all up. We ain't playing no games with them. Shalom, Shabbat, Managa. Tribe up, Managa. We're talking about slavery in Brazil with the American Indian, aka American Negro. Salute. It's like the Bone Savage showed you. Let's talk about it. Yeah, they don't know we connect dots over here, y'all. I got a couple sources already lined up, and we're gonna dig into them one at a time. We're gonna lay some foundation. Managa, salute. Hit that like button. Salute. Hit me up in the chat. Let me know where you at. Let's get to it. We're gonna start off with Google. On escholarship.org, it says the largest black nation outside of Africa, and its race is something. They talking Brazil. Well, hold up. They say the largest black nation outside of Africa. We in the stronghold of the Naga. What they talking about? They say the largest black nation outside of Africa. Last time I checked, Africa was a continent, not a nation. So we indeed talking the largest black nation, period. We're talking Brazil. The largest black nation on the planet in Brazil, Managa. When you talking about continents, talking about Africa. And if you want to talk continents, we know the largest stronghold of the Naga is the Americas, the largest continent. If you want to go there, we're going to look past deception from a third eye point of view. Let's go to the next source. Just want to point that out. Afro-Brazilians. Portuguese Afro-Brazilians, right? Are Brazilians who have predominantly sub-Saharan African ancestry. See Preto. Most members of another group of people, multiracial Brazilians, are Prados, may also have a range of degree of African ancestry, depending on the circumstances, situation, locality, etc. The ones whose African features what? Being black, are more evident are always or frequently seen by others as Africans. Look at the deception. Consequently identifying themselves as such. They identifying what others see them as, my Naga, because they don't know any better. While the ones for whom this evidence is lesser may not be seen as such as regularly, it is important to know that the term Prado, such as Preto, is rarely used outside the census spectrum. And they say they're using that in their census. Brazilian society has a range of words, including Negro itself, to describe multiracial people. Preto and Pardo are among 5 ethnic categories used by the Brazilian Institute of Geography and Statistics, along with Branco for white, Amarelo for yellow, East Indian, and Indigena, Native American. Indigena, right? Okay, now we talking. Indigena, my Naga, just like the book cover. And matter of fact, this cover I'm showing y'all, I'm gonna show y'all where I get that source from for that background photo real quick. And then we're gonna dig back into Wikipedia claiming that these are Africans, but we're gonna prove otherwise. So that background photo comes from this book, Slavery in Brazil. And it's by Herbert S. Klein and Francisco Villaluna. I haven't read this book, but I saw the cover and I decided, you know what, this looks like something to dig on. It's clearly got Negroes on the cover with feathers. They clearly talking about slavery of the American Indians. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna dig on that. So I used that for the background photo. Now let's get back to where we was at on Wikipedia. Now they want to talk slavery in Brazil. They want to talk Prados and all this other stuff. They say, and they want to talk African ancestry, right? They're saying that the people are referring to themselves that because that's what others are labeling them. They say since the early 21st century, Brazilian government agencies such as the Special Secretaries for Policies to Promote Racial Equality and Institute have considered combining the categories. Man, I don't want to. What about the slavery? Brazilians rarely use the American-style phrase African Brazilian as a term of ethnic identity, and never in informal discourse. The IBGE's July 1998 PME shows that of black Brazilians, only about 10% identify as being of African origin. Salute, because they know they're not African. Salute. Most identify as being of Brazilian origin. Salute. Indigenous Nagas. In the July 1990, see these Nagas in Brazil, no man. Your Nagas in the United States need to get straight, man. I always claim you're African American is bullshit. The Nagas in Brazil ain't going for it. Only 10% of them Nagas. And Africano Brasileiro, African Brazilian, were not chosen at all. The category Africano was selected by 0.004% of the response. Hey, hold on. Salute the Monagas in Brazil. Hold on. Salute the Monagas in the Brazil, Monagas. Salute the Brazil Nagas, Monagas. Foul for Brazil. They ain't playing no game. They say do not call them no African Brazilian. They know who they is. They ain't playing around with you. Don't call them that. And Wikipedia definitely not trying to call them that. they try to call them that. They say they own that. Then they say only 0.0, not even 1% of black Brazilians identify as African origin, Monaga. In the 1976 National Household Sample, none of these terms were used even once. Brazilian geneticist Sergio Pana has criticized American scholar Edward Tales for lumping Pratos and Prados in the same cat. I don't really care about all that. Okay, they calling these people Afro-Brazilians, and they saying don't call them that. They saying less than 1%. They saying 0.004% of these people, I say, identify as having any African ancestry. They say the rest say they Brazilian origin. Salute to the Nagas in Brazil, man. Just for standing up for who they are. Salute. Now let's dig into who really got enslaved in Brazil, since they want to talk about Brazilian census shows African Brazilians in the majority for the first time. No, the Nagas, this is the stronghold of the Nagas. They've been the majority. Y'all just starting to trying to tell the truth. You still call them African Brazilians. Says for the first time since records began. Since records began, when y'all showed up. They say for the first time since records began. Black and mixed race people from the majority of Brazil's population, the country's latest census has confirmed. They say for the first time since records began. Well, not cause you couldn't count the nigga. You was busy trying to snatch Nagas out the jungle and enslave them. Yeah, like your Bone Savage clock showed us, which happens to be just like the Slavery in Brazil book. What they carrying, connecting the dots, it's all lining up. If this was court, you would be guilty. You would lose. If this was court, the law, you would lose. The evidence stacked against you. Colonizer lies, Managa. Let's get back to it. They say since the records began. All right. I ain't gonna even dig on that too long. Look, a history of indigenous slavery. Here we go. Look, Native Americans enslaved in Brazil. Indigenous people, right? A history of indigenous slavery. In later years, when the bandeirantes, groups of slavers, explorers, and adventurers. Look, they was groups of slavery. They were slaving people, exploring the land, and going on adventures in Brazil. And hunting for fortunes, fortune hunters. Were making incursions into Brazil's interior between 1628 and 1632. More than 60,000 Guarani people were taken as slaves to the city of Sao Paulo. More than 60,000 Guarano indigenous people of Brazil was enslaved, Managa. Who was enslaved? 60,000 indigenous Brazilians, Managa. Who was enslaved? Africans? African enslaved Managas? No. 60,000 indigenous Brazilian Nagas, American Indians, Negroes with feathers on. That's who got enslaved, Managa. And the story the same no matter where you go in the Americas. That's why we can pick one place at a time like this. And we're going to enlighten Nagas everywhere we go. For Brazilians, indigenous people, slavery born of colonization. They weren't bringing no Africans over. They was coming over seeking fortune and enslaving the people there. They were trying to get Nagas out the way right there. What they gonna go bring somebody for? And they seeking fortunes because they was broke. Look, and you can't even click on this source. I'm trying to click on it. They won't let me click on this source. It's a hidden source. See, it's probably hidden in America. I'm clicking it. It won't even let me click the source. Ain't that something? Ain't that funny? Go try to click on it yourself, Managa. Go try to pull the source up and click on it yourself, and let me know in the comment section if you were successful. Native Americans enslaved in Brazil on Google. The first thing pull up. Okay, now it's clicking. Now it's pulling up for some reason. Look it up. The hijack. Look, a history of indigenous slavery. The invasion of indigenous lands by non-indigenous peoples was ratified by the Portuguese colonizers in this part of the world in 1530. When the possessions of 20% of all the known territories were parceled out as hereditary chiefdoms known as captaincies. The other 80% of these territories were divided and conceded to third parties under the concession systems. Aside from taking possession of the land, the members of the Portuguese aristocracy and cronies of the Portuguese king who were granted the concessions also earned the right to enslave the indigenous people. Enslave who? Africans, Managa? No, enslave the indigenous people, Managa. You got to get this clear. We'll study real history one Naga at a time. And we talking Brazil now. Salute to all my Brazil noggers who don't identify as Afro-Brazilians. They say they identify as Brazilian origin. In later years, when the Bandeirantes, groups of slavers, explorers, adventurers, and fortune hunters were making excursions to Brazil, 1628, 1632, they took more than 60,000 Guarani people, Negroes. They took more than 60,000 Guaranis and enslaved them. How did the Guaranis look, Managa? Just like this. They was Native American Indians, Indigenous Americans, American Indians. They didn't come from Africa. They was Negro. They had their feathers on. They had their hoops on, earrings. They had their nappy hair. They didn't paint themselves black. They were just black. They didn't put on nappy Afro wigs. They just had nappy hair. They had feather loincloths, Managa. And they enslaved them. They didn't get you from no Africa. Make it clear one Naga at a time, man. Make it clear one Naga at a time. Resistance to indigenous slavery only began in 1758. It started from the 1500s, 1530s, 1600s, and they only started resisting in 1758 because of a decree by the Marquis de Pombal, Secretary of State for the Portuguese Crown. Yet the same document made it a crime to speak indigenous language inside Brazil. Oh, how they stole your language. It made it a crime for the Naga to speak his own language inside his homeland at the same time. According to the 2010 census, the last one to count the indigenous population, the results of the newest census will be published this year. There's some 900,000 indigenous people. No, it's more than that. It's more than that. You ain't counting the black people. You ain't counting the Negroes. You call them Afro-Brazilian, and they are the indigenous people of Brazil. You're not fooling us. You ain't gonna blindside us with lies. And this source here we just read from, sugarcane, apples, mining. No, sugarcane, huh? On the unreported problem, what's this we looking at? Manga Bay for Brazil's indigenous people, slavery born of colonization. These weren't the slaves here. Why you ain't show the Nagas? Why you ain't show the real slaves? When have you seen any images of those people being enslaved? This who got enslaved, my Naga. Think we gonna go for lies? We know exactly who they enslaved. I don't know what just happened. My source just flipped on me for some reason. They don't like what I'm doing. They already hijacking. It's all right though. I'll get this. I'll pull the source back up. Ain't no big deal. We know what we looking at. Yeah. Oh, they freezing me up. Let me let my computer chill for a minute. They want to freeze me up. Here we go. All right, here we go. Don't freeze me up. Don't get mad, hijack. Damn. We just talking real history. I mean, I understand y'all don't like the fact that we exposing lies over here. We exposing lies, and they don't like it, y'all. Let me get my sources back together. Oh, now yeah, they jacking my string, y'all. Just bear with me. Let me just chill. Bear with me, y'all. Just hang in there. They got my camera blacked out. Dang, but they don't like this. It's a lot of Nagas in Brazil. I done pissed a lot of people off this quick. Damn. Y'all go jack my screen. Can I get back online? Let me try something. Hold on. Damn, they really hijacking me. Camera one. Am I back on deck? Okay, damn. Hey, man. Really? Put my source back up. It ain't over. They thought this was over. We ain't over. We'll wait. They put that hijack up talking about this is Afro-Brazilian. That ain't no Afro-Brazilian. That ain't no Naga. That ain't who got enslaved. That ain't who got enslaved. Why y'all put a hijack picture up? Yeah. Let's read this source here. This is from moterio.rj.gov. This is a government source, but it's from a foreign country. It's from, I believe it's from Brazil, .gov.brazil. If you can see the link, matter of fact, I'm gonna copy the link and put it in the chat because I had to translate this source to English, and it says Indian slavery. Let's read it. Let's tell the truth about Brazilian slavery. It said, in order to insert the Indian in the colonization process, the Portuguese resorted to three methods. The first consisted of enslavement, pure and simple, on the basis of force, normally employed by the colonists. Okay, they're telling us who, when, and where. They don't give us none of this. They just say Africa when they say Africa, right? But they tell us all about who got enslaved in Brazil and the people they call the Afro-Brazilians. And they Indians, they American Indians, they black Indians, they indigenous Brazilians. And they know it. The other created an indigenous peasantry through acculturation and detribalization. They want to detribalize you, Managa. Practiced first by the Jesuits and then by the other religious orders, Islam and everything else. The third sought the gradual integration of the Indian as a salaried worker, a measure adopted by both lay people and religious. Throughout the 16th and early 17th centuries, in Portuguese simultaneously applied three methods. At that time, they considered indigenous labor indispensable to the sugar business. Who was in the sugar plantation, Managa? Who was the Negroes planting the sugar, Managa? Indigenous labor. Wasn't no Africans. I keep telling y'all, it was not Africans. It was indigenous laborers. Just like the all-born savage, Managa. Just like the all-born savage, indigenous Nagas. Yeah, man, we know what time it is. Y'all ain't fooling us, period. Y'all might well take these hijacked pictures down and put the real ones up. The Portuguese crown was divided regarding the Indians as subjects. It was legally and morally unacceptable to enslave them, but reality dictated that need to him. The value of the colony was increasingly centered on large sugar production, and this, in order to be profitable, required a large contingent of slave laborers. As in Brazil, there was a great possibility of using the indigenous as laborers. The indigenous in Brazil was the slaves on the plantations, and the plantation owners did not have enough resources to import Africans. Let's stay right here for a minute, y'all. For all these people that's calling these Negroes Afro-Brazilians, these colonizers, dirty, funky, monkey, French, stinking, funky, Spanish, Portuguese, ugly asses, ain't even have money to bring their own ass nor to import Africans. They came as servants. They enslaved the indigenous people. They are calling you Afro-Brazilian so you won't fight for your land, Managa. This is your land, Managa. It is you. You are the indigenous. You are the army indigene. You are the indigenous Negro of the land. You are the Negroes de terra. It's you, Managa. If you black and Brazilian, that's your land. And damn right you should fight for it. It say the best options was to use it. It say, as in Brazil, there was a great possibility of using the indigenous as labor, and the plantation owners did not have enough resources to import Africans. The best options was to use the indigenous people. Salute. Salute, Managa. Rewind it, cut it, share it, Managa. Remix it. Fake ass pictures, man. That's fake. We know this is fake. We already seen the real images. In fact, I got it in my community post. It's hijack ass fake American Indian images. $5 fakers.
Sit your $5 ass down before I make change.
It say, thus the Portuguese crown, despite having begun to create in 1570 a legislation to prohibit indigenous enslavement, let enough loopholes in the law not to extinguish it for good. Yeah, you start calling them Afro-Brazilians, which would affect sugar production and consequently reduce its profits. The period from 1540 to 1570 marked the apogee of indigenous slavery in Brazil, in the Brazilian mills, especially those located in Pernambuco and Bahia. In these captaincies, the colonists obtained Indian slaves by stealing them from tribes that had imprisoned them in their wars. So who was the Indians that was escaping and going back with the Indian tribes? Were they African blended in with Indians? No, they was Indians escaping. By attacking the allied tribes themselves. These incursions into the tribes known as jumps. Oh, they was known as jumps, okay? Bomb drop. Were considered illegal by both the Jesuits and the crown. Yeah, but they encouraged it though. But economic interest spoke louder. Money spoke louder. And in this way, the onslaught was turned a blind eye. They turned a blind eye to the enslavement. They just say, yeah, just call them Afro-Brazilians. Yeah, just reclassify them. They all look alike. work regime in the sugarcane plantations was arduous. The Jesuits put pressure on the crown and got the lords to give the Indians time off on Sundays so that they could attend mass, but exhausted by the rhythm of work, they preferred to rest or go hunting and fishing as a way to supplement their food. Many gentlemen did not heed this royal determination, and the Indians continued to work on Sundays and holy days. Trying to solve this situation, the Jesuits intensified their actions against slavery, promoting an intense catechization program in the small towns and villages of the region. They was enslaving the indigenous people, man. All them niggas that enslaved, they tell you, hey, you came from slavery, man. Yeah, Indian slaves, fool. Yeah, you came from slavery, all right. Indian slaves, fool. Not African slaves, American Indian slaves, my nigga. Like the bone savage clock with your dart and bow, with your bow and arrows, my nigga. Salute. American Indians, feathers up, my nigga. That's where you came from. You came from no Africa. You been in Brazil. You been in Brazil, my nigga. And they know you been there. They know you been there, my nigga. You been in Brazil. Yeah, you looking just like that book cover, my nigga. Yeah, you carrying around the colonizer, my nigga. Slavery in Brazil, my nigga. The American Indian, the bone savage, the noble savage, my nigga. And we know all about it, my nigga. We're gonna continue to connect these dots. We're gonna continue to enlighten our people on who they truly are. Stop calling them Afro-Brazilians. They told you they have a Brazilian origin, and you need to respect that. You need to respect that they know who they is. Hey man, I'm Blackjack, man. This House of Cons, my nigga. Tribe up, con up with me. Hit the like if you a real one. If you a fake $5 pretending fake red man who wanna be us, hit the dislike, clown. You ain't a real Indian, no fake feathers on. We know what the real one like. You ain't nappy headed and black. You ain't no Indian, my nigga. And they ain't no Africans. Blackjack, House of Cons, respect my house. Or we let the doorknob hit your ass, with the most I split your ass. Yeah. Tribe up, salute, peace.